The sound of roaring engines jolted me awake at 5:30 a.m. The rumble of heavy machines came from right outside my bedroom window. Barefoot, still in my flannel pajama pants, I ran to the porch. What I saw made my heart stop. 5 giant cement trucks were lined up on the edge of my tomato field. Men in hard hats were already guiding gray rivers of concrete across my rich black soil. My family had worked for more than 70 years. "Hey, stop that right now," I yelled, sprinting across the gravel, rocks slicing into my bare feet. At the center of it all stood a woman with perfect blonde hair, a clipboard in hand, and a blazer that looked like it cost more than an entire month of my farm earnings. Patricia Winters had lived in the new Maplewood Estates Subdivision for less than a year before getting herself elected president of the HOA. "Oh, good morning, farmer," she said sweetly, lips curling into a fake smile. "Beautiful day to improve the neighborhood, isn't it? What are you doing on my land?" "This is private property," I shouted, pointing to the concrete spreading over rows meant for heirloom tomatoes. Patricia's smile widened. "Actually, this section falls under Maplewood Estates jurisdiction now. We need additional parking for the community pool opening next month." "That's impossible," I stammered. "My family has owned this entire 10 acres since 1951. She calmly held up a document sealed in plastic. "The county approved our request last month. This quarter-acre is officially HOA property now. Here's the signature." She tapped a line at the bottom. "I tried to notify you, but you never answer your phone or check your email." I clenched my fists. Of course I hadn't checked. I was too busy working sunup to sundown to keep this little farm alive against megafarms swallowing everything around us. Just then, my neighbor Bill Johnson, who'd lived here for 30 years before the HOA formed, jogged up. "What's happening, Tom?" he asked. Before I could answer, Patricia cut in. "We're finalizing a community improvement project. You voted for it at last meeting, remember?" Bill frowned. "I thought we were just adding benches and flowers." "Additional parking," Patricia corrected smoothly. "It was all in the proposal." I looked around. More neighbors had gathered. Some looked worried, but no one dared step forward. "This is theft," I shouted. "I never signed anything. I never agreed to this." Finally, Patricia's smile cracked. Her voice hardened. "Listen, your little hobby farm is dragging down everyone's property values. The board voted. It's done. Continue, please," she told the workers. Concrete gushed over my soil, erasing generations of work in minutes. Paper shields. I ran inside, grabbed my phone, and called the police. By the time officers arrived, Patricia was armed with paperwork. "This seems like a civil matter, sir," the young officer muttered, barely glancing at the documents. "You'll need to take it up with the county. They're destroying my crops right now," I cried, pointing. "The concrete already covered nearly a quarter-acre. I can't stop legal construction with proper permits," he replied. His eyes flicked toward Patricia's luxury SUV, complete with a county commissioner's parking pass hanging from the mirror. After the police drove away, Patricia returned, now flanked by 3 HOA board members in designer clothes. "Look," she said, lowering her voice. "This is progress. Your farm," she paused, letting her eyes travel over my weathered barn and greenhouse, "is quaint, but it doesn't fit the neighborhood vision anymore. We're willing to make you an offer for the rest of your property." One of the men, Frank Taylor, added, "It's generous. Above market value." "This farm has been in my family for 3 generations," I snapped. "It's not for sale at any price." Patricia's smile dropped cold. "That's unfortunate, because this is just the beginning. The HOA has dozens of regulations. Fencing, equipment, livestock. You'll find you're in violation of at least 2 dozen of them. That's $100 per violation, per day." She shoved a thick binder into my hands. They left laughing as the last of my tomato field disappeared under concrete. That night, my phone buzzed with a text from my daughter at college. "Dad, did you deposit the tuition money yet?" I stared at the glowing concrete slab and felt sick. This wasn't just about land. It was about my family's future. The fight begins. I couldn't sleep. At midnight, I spread old maps across the kitchen table. Yellowed paper my grandfather had preserved decades ago clearly showed. The quarter-acre in question was ours. I photographed everything, then started calling property lawyers. By 2 a.m., I was scrolling online when my old friend Ray, a retired councilman, Called. Tom, I heard what happened. That HOA president? She's married to a developer who's been buying land all over. They're planning a shopping mall. Your farm is right in the middle. It clicked. This wasn't about a parking lot. It was about forcing me to sell everything. What Patricia didn't know, before farming, I'd worked 15 years as a real estate attorney. I still had contacts. And I wasn't afraid of a fight. I dialed Sam Harrington, the best property rights lawyer in the state. Sam, it's Tom Wilson. They poured concrete on my farm. I need your help. And when we're done, I want to own the HOA that tried to steal from me. Digging for truth. Over the next week, I searched county records with a clerk named Barbara. After days of dusty files, she whispered urgently, "Look at this." It was a permit the HOA filed 6 months earlier. They had used outdated maps from 1973, maps corrected in 1974 after my grandfather fought a boundary dispute. Barbara's eyes flashed. Someone deliberately used the wrong maps. Sam's eyebrows furrowed when I showed him. This isn't just sloppy paperwork. This is fraud. Meanwhile, my mailbox filled daily with HOA fines, $250 for improper equipment, $500 for chickens, $750 for fence height. Neighbors avoided me, while Patricia spread lies at book clubs and parties. One brave neighbor, Emma, brought a pie. Patricia told everyone your farm is tanking our house prices. People are scared. Last month the Millers questioned her. And suddenly they were fined for everything from their mailbox color to their flowers. It was clear, Patricia ruled through fear. Gathering allies. I attended the next HOA meeting. Patricia stood at the podium in a tailored blue suit, flashing photos of my farm. As you can see, this eyesore is damaging our community. Property values have dropped 15%. I rose. That's not true. This farm was here before your houses. And county data shows values have gone up 7% this year. Murmurs rippled through the room. Patricia's face reddened. Afterward, I caught Frank Reynolds, the HOA treasurer. He glanced nervously around. Patricia cut a deal with Cornerstone Enterprises. They want your farm for a mall. She gets a commission if she delivers it. She's even using HOA emergency funds to pay lawyers. That night, from my window, I watched Patricia throw a lavish party. Board members clinked glasses while she whispered promises in their ears. I knew then, this was war. Old proof, new battles. The next morning, I visited Mr. Johnson, an elderly neighbor. He remembered the original dispute. Your grandfather proved that corner was yours. In '74, I still have the article. From his dusty cabinet, he pulled a yellowed newspaper quoting a judge. This land belongs to the Wilson farm, now and forever. I nearly cried with relief. Armed with evidence, I confronted Patricia when she brought a bulldozer toward my barn. Stop, I shouted. She smirked. According to our latest survey, this barn is 3 feet over the property line. It has to come down. I have proof you used fake maps. And I know about your deal with Cornerstone, I said loudly, recording on my phone. For just a moment, fear flashed in her eyes. The bulldozer driver shut off the engine. I'm not getting into legal trouble. Patricia hissed, you'll regret this. We'll bury you in lawsuits until you beg to sell. But neighbors were watching. For the first time, their eyes weren't filled with suspicion, but doubt in Patricia. Turning the tables, I filed an emergency injunction at the county courthouse, showing evidence of fraud. The judge agreed to review it immediately. Meanwhile, Sam uncovered something else. The HOA was $430,000 in debt from Patricia's reckless clubhouse project. Many homeowners faced foreclosure. From rising fees. What if I bought properties? I asked. Enough to gain voting control? Within weeks, my LLC quietly purchased 11 struggling homes. Each deed came with HOA voting rights. I now controlled 51% of Maplewood Estates. At the next meeting, Patricia announced, the board has determined the Wilson barn is a safety risk. Demolition begins next week. All in favor? Hands rose. Before she could declare victory, Sam entered with a court official. This meeting is adjourned. We have evidence of fraudulent surveys and financial misconduct. Patricia shrieked. You can't do this. I stood. Actually, I can. My LLC now owns controlling interest in this HOA. By your own bylaws, I am the majority. The room erupted. Patricia's face turned crimson as Frank Reynolds confessed. She's been stealing from the maintenance fund. When I confronted her, She threatened me. Security escorted Patricia out as she screamed, "This is my neighborhood." Neighbors turned to me, shaken. I didn't want this fight, I admitted. I just wanted to farm. But Patricia bullied everyone for her profit. Now, together, we rebuild. Justice served. Evidence of Patricia's fraud, embezzlement, and developer kickbacks hit the press. Cornerstone Enterprises faced fines and bans. Patricia was indicted. With neighbors' help, we tore up the concrete slab and turned it into a thriving community garden. Families who had never planted anything came with gloves and seedlings. The soil healed, and so did the neighborhood. At Patricia's trial, her lawyers called it community improvement. The judge disagreed, sentencing her to 18 months in prison. Months later, at a harvest festival, children picked strawberries where concrete once smothered my fields. Mr. Gonzalez, a quiet neighbor, handed me heirloom seeds. "For your new beginning," he said softly. Property values? They rose higher than ever, not because we buried a farm, but because we built a community. As the sun set over my land, I thought of my grandfather. They had tried to bury his legacy in concrete. Instead, they planted the seeds of our rebirth. And this time, the farm would never fall.